What if the one person you thought was ordinary, the one you thought you'd lost forever, turned out to be just like you, a Supe? In genv Season 2, that's exactly what Marie Moreau discovers. Her entire world gets flipped upside down when she learns that her long-lost sister Annabeth isn't just alive, she's also been hiding a shocking secret. A secret that could completely change the future of the show and everything we thought we knew about Vought, Compound V, and the next generation of Supes. This twist didn't just break fans' hearts, it redefined Gen V's entire family storyline. So in this video, we're talking about why Marie and Annabeth were estranged, how tragedy tore them apart, and how their shocking reunion reveals something massive about Project Odessa, Cipher's motives, and the evolution of Supe genetics. Marie Moreau's story has always been one of tragedy wrapped in destiny. She wasn't born into privilege or fame, like most of the golden Supes we see strutting around Godolkin University. No. Marie's life began with blood, trauma, and lies. She grew up believing that her parents loved her unconditionally, that she was just another normal kid trying to fit in. But one night, one horrifying night, everything changed. When Marie first got her period, she expected a conversation with her mom, maybe some awkward advice, maybe a moment of bonding. But instead, it became a nightmare that would haunt her forever. Unaware of her latent Supe powers, Marie accidentally manipulated her own blood, weaponizing it in a fit of confusion and panic. The result was catastrophic. Both her parents died in a gruesome, bloody accident she never intended. In that one moment, Marie's life shattered, her childhood ended, and the world she knew disappeared in a flash of crimson. After the tragedy, Marie was taken to Red River, the infamous Vought facility that fostered orphan Supes. There, she spent her teenage years alone, isolated, haunted by guilt and unanswered questions. But what really tore at her heart was the thought of her younger sister, Annabeth. The two were separated after the deaths of their parents, and Marie never saw her again. She didn't know if Annabeth was alive, if she hated her, or if she even remembered her. That silence, that emotional distance, defined Marie's entire life. Fast forward to her arrival at Godolkin University, where Marie begins to rebuild herself. She finally starts finding a sense of belonging, surrounded by other young Supes trying to make their mark. But even with the friendships, rivalries, and chaos, one thing never leaves her mind: her sister. What happened to Annabeth? And then, in Season 2, Episode 3, titled H is for Human, we finally get answers. Marie visits her Aunt Pam, hoping to learn more about her past, specifically why Dean Cipher seems so obsessed with her. What she uncovers is something far more disturbing than she ever imagined. Marie was never injected with Compound V as a baby. She wasn't part of the regular Supe program at all. She was created. Born in a Vought lab after her parents struggled with infertility, Marie was part of a top-secret experiment known as Project Odessa, a program designed to push the boundaries of Supe creation. Out of all the test subjects, Marie is the only surviving child. This revelation changes everything. It explains her incredibly unique powers, the ability to manipulate blood at will, and why Cipher has been watching her so closely. But it also reveals something even darker. Her entire life has been a lie. Every memory, every belief about her origins, all fabricated by Vought. And if that wasn't enough emotional devastation for one day, she discovers something else. While at her aunt's home, Marie finds Annabeth's belonging. Her sister had been living there the entire time, hidden away, lied to, and fed a version of events that made Marie look like a monster. Pam had told Annabeth that Marie was dangerous, a killer who couldn't be trusted. Furious and heartbroken, Marie confronts her aunt, pleading for understanding. She insists she never meant to hurt anyone, that her parents' deaths were an accident. She begs Pam to tell Annabeth the truth, to help her reconnect with her sister. For Marie, it's a desperate attempt to make amends. But when she finally finds Annabeth again, it's not the reunion she hoped for. In Gen V Season 2, Episode 6, things take a terrifying turn. Cipher, who we initially believed to be pulling all the strings, reveals his true cruelty by showing Marie what's really motivating his manipulation: Annabeth. She's alive, but she's a hostage. Cipher uses her as leverage to force Marie into compliance. It's the kind of psychological torture Vought excels at, turning love into a weapon. When the group mounts their daring escape from Elmira, Marie refuses to leave without Annabeth. But when she finally reaches her sister's cell, the sight is devastating. Annabeth lies dead on the floor, blood pouring from her neck. Marie's worst nightmare has come true again. She's lost her family, and this time, It's her fault all over again. But something incredible happens next. Fueled by grief and raw power, Marie does the impossible. She manipulates Annabeth's blood, using it to literally bring her back to life. It's one of the most shocking moments in genv history, not just because of what she does, but because of what it reveals. Marie's abilities aren't just about controlling blood. She can restore life. That's God-tier power, the kind of ability that makes her not just a weapon, but a miracle. When Annabeth awakens, though, it's not a happy reunion. She's terrified. She doesn't understand what's happened. Her eyes reflect fear, not love, not relief, but pure dread. And that's when the real twist hits. As the group tries to escape, Annabeth starts giving orders, telling them which way to go, when to move, and even warning them about danger before it happens. She senses Sam's arrival before he crashes through a wall. And later, she predicts when Vicor is about to appear. It's too precise to be coincidence. And then the truth comes out. Annabeth is a Supe. That's right. The very sister who blamed Marie for everything, who thought she was normal, has powers of her own. She's a precog, a Supe who can predict the future. According to Annabeth, she never knew exactly when she was injected with Compound V. It may have been done secretly or without her consent, just like so many others in the genv universe. But when her powers began to manifest, she realized she could sense things before they happened, though not with full control. She kept it hidden her entire life, afraid of what it meant and what others would think. This changes everything. It means Annabeth and Marie aren't just sisters. They're linked by fate and by science. Both were turned into Supes without their knowledge or consent. Both were victims of Vaught's experiments, and yet both were made to believe they were alone. But here's where things get messy. Even after being saved, Annabeth doesn't forgive Marie. She blames her for everything, for their parents' deaths, for the chaos that followed, for the pain she's endured. In one heartbreaking exchange, Annabeth says that Marie is the only danger in her life. To her, every bad thing that's ever happened somehow leads back to her sister. It's a brutally honest moment, one that captures the emotional weight of the series. Because while Marie sees her powers as a curse she's learning to control, Annabeth sees hers as a secret she's forced to carry. They're two sides of the same coin, victims of Vought, manipulated by people who wanted to play God. But now that we know Annabeth is a Supe, what does that mean for the future of genv? Well, Annabeth's abilities as a precog open up massive story possibilities. Her visions could help the group anticipate threats, avoid traps, and even uncover hidden truths about Vought and Project Odessa. She might not have the flashy physical power of Marie or Sam, but her foresight gives her an entirely different kind of strength, the power of knowledge. And if there's one thing we've learned from the boys' universe, it's that knowledge is far more dangerous than brute force. We've seen characters like Sister Sage prove that mental power can be just as lethal as physical dominance. And Annabeth could easily follow that path if she learns to control her gift. Right now, her visions come sporadically and without precision. But imagine what would happen if she could harness them intentionally, if she could see the future clearly and manipulate it to her advantage. That makes her a potential game changer, not just for the group, but for the entire war between Supes and humans. Her powers could be the key to stopping Cipher, understanding Vaught's next move, or even uncovering what truly happened behind Project Odessa. And with Stan Edgar making a surprise appearance at the end of the episode, it's clear that Vaught's most powerful players are already keeping an eye on her. But perhaps the most powerful part of this storyline isn't the sci-fi element. It's the emotional core. Marie and Annabeth's relationship mirrors the show's larger message. That power doesn't just corrupt, it isolates. Both sisters are trying to find a place in a world that used them as experiments. And while Marie wears her pain on her sleeve, Annabeth hides hers behind resentment. Their reconciliation won't be easy. It might take an entire season, maybe even two, before they can truly see each other as sisters again. But what makes it so compelling is that, despite the anger, despite the trauma, they're both still fighting for something better. They're still trying to understand who they are, not as weapons, but as human beings. With only a few episodes left this season, fans are already speculating about where this could go. Will Annabeth join the team at Godolkin? Will she finally accept her powers and stand beside her sister? Or will her fear and resentment push her toward darker choices? Maybe even towards Cipher's side? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. Annabeth's awakening has changed the game. She's no longer just Marie's lost sister. She's a symbol of what Vought has done to an entire generation. And as Gen V moves closer to connecting with the boys' storyline, it's hard not to wonder, if Annabeth can see the future, what does she already know that the rest of us don't? So what do you think? Is Annabeth's precog ability the missing piece that will finally expose Vaught's next big secret? Or will her fear drive her and Marie even further apart? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. Because in Gen V, the future isn't written in stone, it's written in blood.